Hi, everybody. Recruiting animal here. This little woman's voice comes up and interrupts me. Recruiting animal here on September 8th, 2021. The guest I didn't know she had kids, but her kid got sick. She canceled. So it's going to be a recruiters roundtable. And nobody else seems to, except our good friend Rich Rosen is here. Okay, so what could be better? I'll ask him all the really important questions. And the first one is a concern of mine. My mother's doctor once told her to use eye drops regularly. And she told me, look, you're on the computer all day, you should use these eye drops. And she gave me a bottle of eye drops. They've gone over their expiry date. Should I be worried about that, or can I still use them?
Oh, you can still use them. My dad was a pharmacist. You can still use them.
Oh, your dad was a pharmacist? Okay. Yeah. Even for, see, the thing is, generally, I know that's true, but even for eye drops, it's a delicate thing. Okay, well, there you go, everybody.
How far overdue are they? Are they expired by a week, a day, a month, a year?
They're not in front of me here. Just the last time I looked, they were over. Most drugs, I've read that most drugs are good for 15 years after you. But anyway, okay, that's settled. What about this important question? If you're doing a Zoom interview, can you have your dog in your lap?
No, that's obnoxious.
Why not? Why not? It's a cute little dog, as long as it's quiet. You know what? I'm not making this up. I'm not making it up. A lady, a recruiter, she showed a picture of herself with her stupid little dog there sitting there, right?
Dude, it's funny. I had a client that it was a really hard to fill role last week. And he got all upset because the guy was chewing nicotine gum. He just quit smoking, he was chewing nicotine gum. And he was complaining about this guy chewing gum. And he's going through the whole thing. And I'm like, this guy, I'm like, Mr. Klein, I'm like, we're on this call, the video call together, and you're chewing your nails while you're telling me this guy's chewing gum. Is it really that big a deal? I'm like, you know what? You mentioned it, he'll stop doing it. And they, it got him over the hump and he moved to the next interview.
So he didn't knock him out on that account?
He was really all set to. And then he realized that he didn't realize himself. He was chewing his nails and doing other silly things.
Was that bold on your part? That seems like a regular Rich Rosen move to me, but you're not afraid to call out these guys, right?
No. I mean, you do it nicely. I'm not a jerk to them, but I'm like, I just said, listen, I said to him, you realize you're chewing your nails after having this conversation. And he's looking, you see his video, he's like, oh, kind of looked at his fingers. He didn't even realize he was doing it.
Hey, hold on. Okay, Rich, I'm chewing my nails. Take me to task for that. I don't know what I'm doing. But if I'm going to a formal interview, I know when I'm putting gum in my mouth and I know it's wrong, okay?
End of the day, those are fixable behaviors. One guy's trying to quit smoking. Yeah. You commend him on it. Don't ruin it.
Okay, your candidate might have asked, or he might have explained. Your candidate obviously didn't realize that gum chewing is considered...
No, and he wasn't chewing like a cow, he was just, it was in his mouth.
I remember when I was in grade 10, watching this girl in my class, a very cute girl, chew gum. She chewed it with her mouth open, but it was cute. It was cute. I remember all these years later. Okay, so we've got a few important issues discussed there already. What tips?
There you go.
Okay. Now here's something. I had a little fight with my good friend Jerry. But just before, this woman was writing about, her requirements on her job. And I know Rich is a very busy man. He warned me that he can't stay. So, you go whenever you have to, Rich. That's fine. I appreciate you being here. But Jerry, these are still warm-up questions. Jerry, this woman said she has so many subs. She kept talking about subs. I didn't know what a sub was, so I admitted I didn't know what a sub was. Do you know what a sub is?
I'm assuming subordinates, or subcontractors.
Rich doesn't know, everybody. It's a submission. At least you didn't think it had a second. You didn't think it had a sexual innuendo or connotation,
No, I
right?
didn't think it was your gum chewing fetish and submissive slave fetish.
Yeah, well, it's a submission. She has to submit so many resumes. I sub stuff. I didn't know. And so, of course, Jerry took me to task. What are you, an idiot? Yeah, I'm an idiot. Okay. But this guy didn't know either. Sub. Okay. You know what? Maybe I got too many warm-up questions this time, but this woman said she cries. Hey, Mario. Okay.
Hi, long time.
Long time. Love you long time. Okay. This woman said she cries sometimes because of her situation at work. I'll just always finish asking Rich, do you ever cry?
Me?
Yeah.
No, not at work.
Is that because at work? Is that because you're a man and you're conditioned not to cry, or you just don't have the urge to cry?
I don't really ever have the urge to cry.
Okay, I think it's partly both. My experience, call me sexist, women cry more. Okay,
Absolutely.
but I think it's partly natural and partly they have permission, because there's lots of times I know that I hide my feelings because it's just considered improper. Okay, so
There's
there you
nothing
go.
wrong with crying. There's nothing wrong with people that cry. Just
Mario,
need.
do you cry? Not on screen, not in front of everybody, but does your work? Do you
You're
cry?
watching
ever?
Old Yeller or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I cried once when I lost 3 placements, but it was literally a cry of frustration.
What happened?
I lost 3 placements in a week.
Oh,
It was a cry of frustration.
Are you putting
I'm
this
not
on?
gonna cry.
You didn't cry. Okay.
No.
Well,
You just throw, when that happens, you just throw stuff. You just throw something across the room.
Which I am practicing restraint without throwing things.
You'll get an ulcer that way. Just let it rip.
Okay. He's doing yoga. He's doing yoga now. He's trying to calm down.
No, I'm not doing yoga. I'm controlling it.
Okay. So why didn't you accuse me of being racist? Well, just because you're in India, I used yoga. Okay. That's wrong. That's wrong, recruiting animal. Okay. Hold on a second. Here's something else. This other woman, though, she said she works with entry-level hourly workers. And she said she hears so many stories. They actually do cry on the phone with her. They don't have any money. They're desperate. She said it's and then she has to turn them down. So it takes a lot out of her. We never usually you've never had to deal with that. You're dealing with fat cats, aren't you, Rich?
Yeah. I mean, no, I don't have people that are crying.
Your guys aren't going to soup kitchens.
No.
Thank God, no.
What about
they
you?
Are, they're not good salespeople.
No way.
No? Okay. So you know what? I couldn't handle that. I couldn't handle the hearing all that sadness and then having to turn people say, no, they don't want you. Now, here's the ironic thing. Someone else said she goes through the exact same thing. And when they hire the people, they don't show up. or they come
it sounds like she's dealing with the too low end of the market. You got to go upstream.
Or they come one day. Oh, Uncle Ernie.
Oh,
hello there.
You know what? I posted a beautiful picture of Rich last week, and he kind
that
of
was fantastic.
Thank
you, Animal. That was I'm gonna use that at my next big party. I'll post that. It was great.
And today I posted a great picture of Ernie. I don't know if you saw it. He was wearing the same shirt. I guess that's a uniform.
have to dress up, man. Have to dress up.
Okay, let's do some introductions. Rich Rosen, cornerstonesearch.com. Okay, everybody's hero on this show. We've got, I don't know, this guy changes his names and it's still Mario, isn't it?
yeah, obviously.
You had a different name last time.
No, it was my second name.
It used to be Mario R. Now it's Mario Karth. Okay, give us your website.
alexisrecruiting.com.
Spell it.
ELEXIS recruiting.com.
Okay, I'm gonna have to get one for this guy as well. And Ernie, I did get one, a smart one. Foodindustryrecruiter.com. Recruitinganimal.com is me. Okay, what's the other one? Okay,
hey, wait. More importantly, Ernie, I've got 2 food roles you could probably help me with.
Love to.
I need software. Well, they need to be sales guys into the food industry.
Yeah.
Okay, great. You know what? That's for after the show.
Animal.
Yeah, we'll talk. Okay. Yeah, we'll talk. Okay. You blow them some of those kisses.
Have your people call my people. We'll get together.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. What about this?
Nice one.
What about this? When candidates say they have another offer, is there any way to check if they really do? Okay. And Rich's favorite internal recruiter, Chad, he said 70% of the time the candidate is telling the truth. 100% of the time, an agency says that they're lying. But my friend Audrey, she said it doesn't matter. I think Priya, a regular on this show, sometimes she also said it doesn't matter if they say they've got an offer. Fine, you give them what you've got, and then if they don't want it,
That's it.
tough luck. Anybody else disagree with that? That's the way to handle it. You don't have to worry if they're just trying to kick up the salary.
Who cares if they are? They are. I mean, the end of the day is if you want the person. I mean, what the end of the day, most of these different. If it's one thing, if it's a $50,000 difference, if it's 10 or 15 grand, is it? At least for sales roles, for me, I'm like, this guy's going to bring in $1 million. Do you really care? If you
So
pay
if
him an
someone
extra
lies,
15
if someone lies to you, Rich, to get an extra $20,000, that's okay with you.
Listen, I'm not. If I know they're lying, it's
You
I
don't
may
know
not do
they're
it.
lying.
If I
That's the
don't
point.
know they're
Rich,
lying,
I've got another offer. I like your company better, but they want
Yeah.
to give me 20 more in the
Like,
base.
so I literally just had this situation this morning, like literally an hour ago, with a guy all of a sudden says he's got an offer for 150. My guys are, kind of screwing around like a 135. And I told him, I'm like, I don't know if I can get it for you. We'll see what we can do. But, would you take it either way? And he's like, he was kind of non-committal on it.
But
So
you never say, hey, can you verify that other offer actually exists?
no.
Send me the offer, send me the written offer, and I'll believe you. Or otherwise, I'm not going to even work.
No, because if I don't really trust the candidate, I'm probably not working with him anyway. So, but everyone blows a little smoke and they just try to negotiate,
Anybody else want in on that? Anybody else want to talk about that? No? Nobody ever gets offer. We keep hearing everybody's got a million offers. No one tries to check on it. Okay.
Because
I mean,
you're getting more
let me
money.
ask you a question. Animal, how can you check on it? What's the proof?
You ask them for send me a copy of the written offer. I want to see it.
They'll ask us to F off. That's what they do. Excuse the part of the French.
What did you say? I got a.
They will ask us to F off.
F off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
They're like
so
that.
you think that's going to build too much antagonism with this person
Yeah,
if
definitely,
you challenge?
right?
Okay.
I mean, we're not that experienced to challenge these guys, right?
Okay.
Rich is
Yeah, I mean,
different. Let's not go to Rich.
But if it challenges them, then if they get all pissy, it's probably because they do have another offer. If they don't, then we're going to take your job anyway.
Yeah.
Really don't have a whole lot to lose.
Okay.
But you tell your client your job is we're not social workers. Our job is to make money. We're salespeople. So if it gets my candidate more money and I get more money out of it, and the company still gets a great employee that's excited to be there, who's losing?
True.
So you would go back to your client and say, look, Joe's told me he's got another offer.
Yeah.
All of a sudden.
Absolutely.
Okay.
He and everybody else that's applying for a job.
Exactly. I mean, if you don't have a second offer, you're probably not that good a candidate. I'd almost ask you why you're going to hire somebody who doesn't have multiple offers, because everyone in my world seems to have multiple offers right now.
Okay.
So
Okay. What about this? People are saying that they place candidates without resumes on a regular basis. Okay. Michael Homula, who is very successful, he says resumes are mostly useless instruments. Clients get distracted by shiny objects like degrees, universities, other brand names, rather than being focused on performance. We, meaning his company, present a detailed profile of each candidate describing in detail what a person can do for their company from a performance perspective based on what they've accomplished in the past. It's data, metrics, established previous objectives, goals, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Better than resumes. He doesn't submit resumes. Anybody does not submit a resume, they submit their notes first and like to go with the notes exclusively. Anybody?
I submit everybody with a resume and my own notes.
Let's hear Ernie
It might
first.
be based on the kind of role you're working on also. I mean, I know who said that. Animal. I know the guy. That guy deals only with executive searches. So he's hunting for people who are mostly not looking for a job.
Yeah. He's a
That's-
retained search.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Retained search.
Dave does high level stuff, but I mean, like, you know, for me, I mean, I'll a lot of times just do a LinkedIn profile, and you know, I just put a couple of bullet points and say, hey, I'll just shoot over in text even, and just say, hey, let's talk to this guy, and
Yeah.
you know.
Okay,
what
that's
you do.
before you've even contacted the candidate. You send the client,
Oh
say,
God,
look,
no one does that. Dave doesn't
My
send
God. Jesus
no. Wait a second.
No,
You-
no one is sending anyone without
Wait,
before they
no,
talk
wait
to
a
them.
sec. You see,
That
you
is
see
Yeah,
not
some
what Dave
good,
was saying.
you see some good people on LinkedIn or somewhere, or somehow you got a thumbnail sketch, and you go to your client and say, look at these guys. Are these the kind of people that you want me to approach? They're sort of your test balloons.
That's different. That's not what you
No,
asked.
no. Animal, you're convoluting the conversation here.
I'm what?
You're convoluting the conversation here.
You know what? Your sound is terrible. And now, you know, at least
I
Rich,
can't help it. You are giving me camera phobia. Now you're going to give me mic phobia also.
no, you always look like a ghost, but I don't mind
Thank
that.
you.
Okay.
I appreciate that.
I don't mind that, but your
The ghost
sound
recruiter.
is, you've got a space mic there
But I got a
that
crappy mic, dude. I can't do anything about it. I had to buy a mic.
you're a recruiter. You should have good sound. Okay. Sorry
I
if
got
I'm
a phone.
talking,
That's
I'm
all
not
that
going to
I-
edit this out. I'm not happy to
I'm
have
okay
you
with
here.
it.
Don't get insulted. I'm happy to have
I'm not
you here.
insulted.
I just have to tell you. Okay.
Oh, totally acceptable.
Does anybody have something they'd like to talk about? Ernie, is there something on your mind that you want to get out and ask these guys, ask Rich before you leave? You see, he can't stay.
I'm working while we're talking here. It's all right. Keep going.
Anything
No,
on your mind, Ernie?
No, I guess it's the process of how you go about when you first start getting a candidate, the job orders. What stages do you have?
What,
Yeah,
what are you
yeah.
talking about? I don't know what you're. I said, do you have a thing, something you want to talk about? You say no, and then you start talking about something.
Well, then you're like listening to me, so then I'm talking. Okay. Well, but I thought about something. What I'm talking about is when you're organizing yourself to call people to get at them. What are the stages that people have? What do you do? I mean, I start out with contacting employees, contacting candidates, excuse me, and then you go ahead and you start you start reaching out to them, and then you have different stages.
I mean, what's your process? Is that what you're
Yeah.
saying?
Well,
Okay.
I want to say what's your process.
Oh, well, come on. Look, we live. Give me a break, okay? Don't be racist against me. I'm Canadian, okay? I couldn't help it. I'm born
Canada.
that way.
So I guess but let me ask you then, Animal, what do you do?
I find a candidate, okay, and then I'll screen them, and then I'll send over a resume with my notes. However, I have done what I suggested before, because I'm not that. That's another thing I wanted to talk about. Sometimes I don't really understand the job that well. I'm working on buzzwords, so I'll find somebody. I'll send this. I'll send a thumbnail sketch over, and I'll confirm with the hiring manager. Hey, is this the right kind of person? That's what I'll do it that way too. And I think that came up. Did Rich have something to say about that, or? Hey, I got this guy. You know, he's got this name, everybody, Dualta Doherty. He's the only person in the world with Dualta. And I ask him every time he comes on, I say, what's your website? Can't give me one. It's so frustrating for me. So I got one for him. All recruiters matter. Okay. If you can't remember that, you're an idiot and you don't deserve to remember it.
What about the shit ones?
You don't have one. I've asked you. All recruiters matter.
What about the shit recruiters? Do they matter?
Hey, you shouldn't say that. He recruits recruiters and he trains them as well. Okay. There's no
I only work with the best.
Yeah. Okay. Anyone, in other words, anyone who's going to pay you,
3 people.
anyone who's willing to pay. Okay. What percentage then, Dualta, what percentage of recruiters who pay you to train them would you say are you know they're losers from the start? They fall into that category.
5%. And out of that 5%, I've had to give my money back to them.
5%, that's not much. You mean everybody who decides to become 95% of the people who decide to become a recruiter can be.
Well, what you're getting wrong, I don't do that. I sharpen the sword of people who are already good. So Rich has had eyes on some of the guys in my course and all the rest. They're not dummies. Like, they're good professionals. They're either scattered or they need something with tech, or
Do some coaching to focus,
yeah.
No,
Do
I
you-
don't understand.
Do you
There's
think
something,
rookie-
if they're going to him for help, they've got some problems. Isn't that
Sure,
true?
we all have problems.
Yeah.
Okay, if all recruiters matter is no good for you, I've got other stuff. But I thought that's great. Rich, would you say that's great? You could go to a party and tell somebody your URL, and they'd never forget it. Am I right?
You're right. I'm not sure what you're going to do with it, but you're right.
Hold on. Okay,
They'll
come
never
on.
forget it for all the wrong reasons.
Mario. Okay, I can never remember the spelling of Alexis, whether it's an E or an A or a single L or two
I'm
L's.
changing it. I'm changing it. Just give me some time.
Okay, but
I
all
know.
recruiters matter. Anyone who speaks English and has especially been alive for the last couple of years, they'll never forget it. They'll say, I want to talk to Dualta and I know exactly where I can find them. Okay. Why do I have to teach everybody? Yeah, I have to teach everybody for free. Oh,
Rich, do you know what? He doesn't have to do stuff for free. I've tried to make this man money and he just says no. I've
I
said,
know.
do you want sponsors? I've got loads of people who'd love to pay you money. No, he doesn't want money.
Why?
Okay,
He's
let's
Canadian.
move on.
He doesn't need it. He doesn't need it. He
Let's
doesn't
move
need
on.
it in Canada.
Let's move on.
He
Okay.
doesn't need the money. He doesn't need the money.
Okay.
He
First
needs the
interview.
time to screen.
Chris Rock says when you meet someone for the first time, you're not meeting them, you're meeting your representative. And one of the guys who's a guest on the show, psychologist, he said, really, the problem with interviews, they're all about impression management anyway. And you're hiring the best impression manager, not the best candidate. Would anyone say, yeah, if you interview somebody, you really don't know that person, you just know what they want you to know? Anybody wants to comment on that? I tend to think I know the person. Okay. I have a feel and I trust my feel and I'll say to them, this is a great candidate. You got to take that guy. Okay.
Well,
Anybody?
it just depends on whether they're a great interviewer or a great doer. And some people are just great interviewers and
Okay.
can't do the job.
And do you believe, Ernie, that people you have interviewed, you would never go to your client and say, I like him, but who knows what he's going to be like in the job? Do you ever actually say that to somebody? Because that's what you're telling me.
Sometimes I do. It's your relationship with your candidate, with your client, and you say, a lot of times you can send somebody out, and you doubt it, and they go ahead and they love them, and you're like thinking, why, how? But it's the old when in doubt, submit.
Yeah, you're confusing me. What about you, Mario? Are you?
You're confused easy.
Yeah, today you're confusing me. Sorry.
I'm
I
thinking
gotta
way
calm
ahead of
down.
you.
Does anybody want to comment on that? That they have
Actually, you know something? Sometimes the best interviewers aren't the best performers. It's a
do
balance.
you have any proof? I hear that all the
Yeah,
time.
I know a
don't put-
couple of recruiters who can't interview shit. Okay, but they really can recruit. Okay, I can talk about the business we're in. Okay, I know some recruiters who can't interview for shit, but they can really recruit like crazy. It's just that they don't know how to present themselves. Though they recruit very well.
Okay,
That's
don't you
most
think
people.
Oh my damn
You
mic.
know.
don't you think a recruiter is going to interview well? No,
No, not at all.
they have to deal with
No.
people on the phone.
Yeah, but they don't know how to pitch themselves. Most recruiters aren't that
Exactly.
good, and they're not that good at their job. Number one, so they can't interview well. And most people in general just don't interview fantastically well.
Okay, but
they need to be led by
Shouldn't
questions.
a
they
recruiter?
can't
Okay,
carry
I know. All recruiters matter. Wants to say something about
Yeah. I think recruiters have a lifespan if they're going to be employed mostly. So if you have somebody who's trained well at a big agency at the first 4 years of their career, they're usually going to interview quite well because they're programmed in a certain way. It's when they're out in the world, they're either sinking or swimming. And if they're sinking a lot, as Rich said, they're not going to be very good. So we usually just provide those early stage candidates because it makes a bit more difference. But you're going to have your baseline, like what did you build? How long were you there for? What's your depth of experience? What kind of connections are you bringing with you? Are you an asshole or do I like you? If they tick all those boxes, and will you do what you're told? If they tick all those boxes, great. If they tick some of them, if they tick none of them, well, then you don't do it.
So for you, it's not a matter of their personality. It's whether they can answer those data questions. Is that right?
Yeah, definitely the data questions is I don't care if you're that charming. If you've been a top performer and you can show me evidence of how and why you did it and like show me your motivations, I don't need to have drinks with you. I don't need to want to bring you around and hang out.
That's an important question. Does a
but there's a
recruiter
fine line between being an asshole and being confident.
Sure.
You know, you can be confident.
They don't need to be my best mate.
Exactly. You know.
No, but hold on. He said clearly, he said a recruiter doesn't have to be charming. Okay. Does that mean personality doesn't count? Nobody?
I think personality counts, but the most important thing is that they're inquisitive and that they're asking the right questions the whole time to elicit the responses. If you're speaking to them and they're just blethering on and not listening, then
I think everybody here, I know all 5 of you guys. I count.
Big numbers.
You've all got personalities. Okay, you've got personalities that I enjoy speaking to. Okay, so but you're saying that recruiter does not have to be able to establish a rapport with a stranger. That's what all recruiters matter. Dwalta Doherty is saying. Brian Fink, who just joined the show. You're famous as a
I was putting it lower down the list.
Okay. Would you agree with him? Recruiter doesn't need a personality.
It's not what I said.
That's what you said. You don't have to be charming. That's what you said.
I said the results matter more than their charm.
Well, let's go together. Go ahead.
So
Brian.
I think that if you don't have the charm, you're not going to have the results. I think that you have to have a concretized conversation specifically with an individual about what they're looking for. And if you don't have the personality to be inquisitive enough to ask the candidate that question.
No. We're talking that. Okay. You can ask. That's what Dwalta said. You got to be inquisitive, ask those questions. But what about
But you have to do it in a certain way.
What about the charm factor? Okay. You get a good feeling from that person. Is that important?
There's loads of top performers that are the most boring people you'll ever meet.
Yeah, exactly. I'd agree with that.
Exactly.
Because they're robotic and they're systematic and they do their thing.
Okay. Ernie's got a funny look on his face.
No, I agree with him. What you got to do is you got to be able to listen. You got to kind of be like a street hustler. You got to be able to talk to people. You got to be able to change your tone depending on what's going on and what you're hearing. But you got to listen and you got to be confident and you got to have your system.
Okay.
We can't all be a triple threat like our man here, Rich Rosen.
Yeah, Rich has he's got a personality, right? He's lively and he knows his stuff. Okay.
Laughs all the time.
He laughs at your jokes. Yeah.
Happy guy, man.
I mean, people gotta like you. You know, they gotta want to talk to you. And
they do. And right. Okay. Nobody else agrees with.
But there's a lot of times
Brian.
Rookies start going on it. They start talking, and rookies feel like they're reading something. Like
Ernie, I agree with you. I think that rookies pelt candidates with facts about a role and they don't listen to find out what the candidate wants to do next. One of the things that I ask candidates is, can you give me a 2-minute snapshot about where you want to go next? Let me know how I can be a vehicle to get you where you want to go. If they tell me in the next role that they want to be a director and this is only a senior manager role, that they don't want to be hands-on, this is a hands-on role, I know it's not a fit. We can make it a quick conversation. We can be buddy-buddy, and I can move on to the next individual in 5 to 10 minutes instead of wasting 20 to 25 minutes learning what they want to do when they grow up.
Okay, well, I've always worried that I have a problem establishing rapport. I have no personality when I call a stranger.
You have no personality. Are you kidding me?
Well, I know you, right? And I've prepared a whole list of questions. So when I call up somebody, I don't know them. I have nothing to say.
Imagine you screaming. It's a recruiting animal here.
I'm a shy, quiet person. Okay. There you go. No, seriously, I met Shally and Shally said, "What happened to you?" He said, "Where's your personality?" I don't have one. Okay. Oh, here's a good question. Although I bet you guys don't like it. I've been confronted with. Let's say you're recruiting machine operators for NC machines, right? And
right?
you've got all the names. You've called Maureen's called through for you, let's say, and she's got all the names, or somehow you found them because these are, not C-level people. They're not on LinkedIn. So you've got the
They're a
phone
monster.
number for the phone that's in the break room. There's only one phone. There's 20 people on the machines. How are you going to get through to the candidates? Anybody want to comment?
Postcards.
What?
Postcards.
What?
Postcards.
What does that mean? Host cards.
Postcards.
Postcards.
Yeah.
Animal, your ears are gone.
I
Too
got
much
a problem.
reading.
Yeah,
You gotta get a new
Get a new
headset.
headphone.
He's got an accent though. Anyway, I have to say.
I know. I speak in redneckanese. I know.
Okay. Does anybody? So nobody. You're going to mail all the postcards to that company. Everybody's going to get postcards.
I worked
know.
a CNC position a long time ago, I think in 2013. But I found a lot of candidates on Monster. So we have never come across a situation where we had to call one guy like that.
Why? They all have their own phones at the machine. Does Rich going to say something? Rich is gone. Okay.
He's gone.
Nobody wants to talk about that. Okay. I thought it was an interesting one. Oh, okay. Yeah. Here's Rich. Rich said, someone said, Rich said, why mention salary off the bat? This woman said, a recruiter. And so Rich says, maybe the client loves the person and will overpay. You've got a weak defeatist attitude. Everybody else is saying, let's do the money talk up front. Rich claims that if you're talking money, you've got a weak attitude because if it's a good candidate, you can fool around with the money. Now, he probably would say that I'm misquoting him. Anybody want to talk about that?
No, but that's what he told earlier when he told us on the show once, you remember?
Yeah.
He spoke the same thing on a show once with us. I think Dualter was there, Ernie was there also. I don't know if Ernie was there.
I think how you translate that is he likes to do a proper needs analysis with the candidate first. He likes to get their buy-in and find out what the real motivations are. And then he's like, look, money, we can make that happen.
No, everybody else says, no, we
can't.
can't make that happen. The client's got salary bands. Let's see if it's worth talking. And
It could also be niche
Yeah,
specific.
But he's getting them bought in first. He's
Yeah.
getting them bought in and finding out what makes them tick. And then he's selling at the end.
Yeah. I agree with Adalta is that you've got this, you got the opportunity to find out what makes a candidate tick and find out if it's money or find out if there's some other variable, right? It may be that they want 36 paid vacation days a year because vacation is important to them, that they want to have a European lifestyle, right? Can you deliver
I guess
on that?
I'm going to guess that most recruiters would disagree with you. Brian, what do you say then if the first thing the candidate says is how much?
It's been real. Thanks.
No way.
No, I don't even have the conversation.
Excuse me.
I would ask him how much is he looking for? And then I would ask them I would ask them where are they getting that from? What's that based on? And then they would then either tell me what I needed to know, and then I would then go, okay, outside of this, and then I go straight into keep asking them questions, and then I take them away from money. Take them away from money. You would just bend them straight away.
Okay, so
I'd move on. I don't want to work with that personality.
Okay, Mario wants to say
Sorry.
something.
Brian, what niche are you in?
Technical recruiting, engineering.
Engineering. Okay. All right. Okay. IT or general engineering?
IT. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Because most of the candidates we deal with in IT ask us initially off the bat, what's the salary range?
And what do you do?
If that's the first question that you ask me, we're not going to have a conversation. It's going to be real cut and dry. It's going to be like, great, I'd really like to assess your skill set first, but since you want to talk about money right out the gate, I don't think this is going to be a good fit for you. Thanks.
And have you done that? Have you actually done that? Or are you just telling us that's what you would do?
No, I do that. I do that all the time. I do that all the time. If you send me a response to an email saying, how much does this pay? I kindly say, I don't know that this is the right role for you. I apologize for wasting your time. Thank you.
Wow, that's harsh. Mario,
Yeah,
what do you
cool.
do? What do you do?
I
You
tell
tell
them the pay range is open. Let me know what you want.
Oh, so you don't tell them either.
Because sometimes we can't animal, sometimes we can. Okay. But I'm trying
Price
to
shopping
implement
is the
this.
worst.
What?
Price shopping is the worst. So,
Yes,
Yeah.
absolute
Most
worst.
mechanics do that.
but if you have them on the phone, and if they're good, I'm going to take them away from that and find out what they really want and
Why is
they need
price
that.
why is price shopping the worst? Why would you say that? It's a bold statement.
Because
But
it's like if you're looking for car insurance, you're going to call 7 places and just get a price. You're not
Yeah.
getting into value.
Yeah.
So you're not intrinsically understanding the person you're dealing with. So you have to get past price to get to understand them. And then you can move on to price again.
Anybody someone else wanted to say?
I think you go into, first of all, what's your motivation for wanting to make a move? What's your motivation for talking to me? And if they tell you money, then you tell them, go back to your boss and ask him for a raise. But if you're talking just money and that's the only thing you want, I don't want to deal with you. I need to have more. You know, why do you want a career change? Are they going to lay you off, or do you want to get back
You
close
guys,
to mom?
everybody always says money's not a good reason to move. I don't know why they
No,
say that.
it's not. Money's not a
Money is
good
a
reason to
reason.
move. It's just
Money's not a good
money
reason.
shouldn't be
You'll be
your
miserable in
motivator.
6 months.
Everybody
just
says
on this though, I can't remember the last time I've had somebody under 30 mention that money was their number one priority.
what are you just dealing with kids?
I'm dealing with a lot of people in their second to third job who like agency recruiters traditionally. So, but their motivations, the millennials' motivations aren't the same as what other people's were. They're much more value driven and purpose driven. So they want to be part of something. They want, I don't know, they're just not as
Crazy.
greedy as your boomer generation, you know?
Okay, did Mario want to say something there?
Yeah, I said they're crazy. I'm about the money.
You're about the money, are you, Murray?
Are you saying, Mario, are you saying money's not a good reason to move? Because every article says now that if you want to get a raise, you have to move. Okay.
Strategical moves are different. Okay. I promote strategical moves. Okay. Get experience, get skill sets, then move. Don't just keep on jump every year to a different job. That's stupidity. You don't build a network, you build nothing.
If someone comes out and tells you that they want money, then is there an underlying reason? And that's what we do. We dig for that underlying reason. Is it because you feel unappreciated? Are you looking around at all your buddies that are making a heck of a lot more? I mean, what's that reason you really want to move?
Did you see that last week? I posted, and I think I discussed it last week as well. I posted from that really popular tech recruiter, Jill. I won't mention her last name. She said a good time to look for a job is right after you got a promotion, because they gave you more money in your current job, but it's not as much as you could get by moving. Okay. She said you should take advantage of your new title and your new salary. And that's a good time to leverage that, a word I don't usually use, to get more. Okay. So I don't know. I think money's a good reason to move. Were you waving at me or what?
No.
Okay.
I said what the lady was talking was bullcrap.
Okay.
But you know, as she said, that's a good time to move on or to look. I think it has to do more with how you see the market and how you see, you know, because it's not a time to have loyalty to the company, is what she's saying. Look around, because a company doesn't give you loyalty at all. And it's not a person. And a lot of people really believe, you know, I've got this job and I gave my word to the company. Where the company never gives you your word.
I have a question. Now, normally when you move to another position, a higher position, you do have to learn new skills to focus on that position, correct?
Mario is right.
So what's the use of moving immediately? You're not getting any new skills. Even a recruiter like us who looks at the resume, you see the guy has become a senior associate, okay, handling certain skills. We know he doesn't have enough experience. We won't pick that resume out.
You know
We'll
what
just
Lou,
put it
you know what
aside.
Lou Adler used to say? Lou Adler, I used to read all his stuff. I haven't for a long
he's good.
time. So I don't think he's
Adler.
changed his tune necessarily. He always deflected money. They wanted to talk about money.
Yeah.
He'd always say, this is a career
Really
issue.
dance.
Okay. Yeah. But then he'd also say, don't look at somebody who's got just a limited amount of experience and wants to move. That might be the superstar. They learn very fast. They're only a year there and they've exhausted everything they can learn in that position. It's going to take them a long time to progress. And so that's they have to move to satisfy their career growth needs. Anybody disagree with Lou? Anybody disagree with Lou? No?
I don't think you disagree with him. I think you look at it and you say, a lot of people say, well, I get paid well and the title doesn't matter. But when you talk to recruiters, I mean, if there's a VP job, we're calling all the VPs. Maybe we'll call a director, but we'll never call a manager. So title does matter.
Okay, so he's a contrarian on that. I think. Okay, I got a question, but does anybody, Brian's a super sourcer. We got All Recruiters Matter. Dualta is an expert in what's going on in the recruiting scene. Do you guys have some issues you'd like to bring up? We've got 15 minutes.
I need
left.
somebody to walk my dog and nobody's doing it for me. So I have to go, guys.
Oh, okay.
So I could contribute a bit more, but I wish you all the best.
Thanks for dropping by.
Well,
okay. Anybody else got an issue?
I was just going to mention.
I got rid of one guy.
I mentioned with Brian. I've been going heavy on your programs that you're putting up, the podcasting that you do.
yeah, what's up?
No, I just want to say that's some heavy duty information I'm getting. I love it. It's good.
What is it? What's the name of the podcast? Where can they find it?
Sourcing School, they can find it on recruitingdaily.com.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what do you like about it, Ernie? Give them a plug
well,
now.
I think with it, they're pretty down to earth. You and the other fellow that's doing
Ryan?
it with you.
Ryan? Is it Ryan,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And they're pretty down to earth. It's short, so you don't spend like 2 hours listening to something, and they're not selling anything. You don't feel like, some of these programs I've listened to, they've always bring on people that are part of their program. And then in the middle of it, they say, well, how did I help you? These guys are like giving you just information. This is how you do it. The last one I heard was, how do you set up a program? How do you set up your recruiting agency with no money? And they went through that, and they
Let's
gave
hear
you
it, because my question, the next question I was going to ask was, how long do you have to be a recruiter before you can set up your own agency? Before you can go work for
I am
yourself?
so glad that you asked that, since I got blasted in your chat channel about that this morning.
Okay.
Yeah, I am so glad you asked.
That's where
that.
I picked it up from,
Ooh, so
And
pissed off about that.
I liked your comment. Everybody said you're a goof. I know, that's right.
I know, and I'm like, okay, so what do? You recruit? I mean, you recruit like whatevers. I mean, who knows? Anyhow, so look, how long do you have to be in this business? I think that literally, if you go into work for 6 weeks and you hit the ball out of the park and you're doing all the work, that there should be a better revenue share model. There should be a partnership share model like they do in a law firm. Either that, or say, you've taught me well, I'm going to go watch some videos. Fuck you guys. I'm going to go start my own agency. Let's do this.
Exactly. I like that. I totally agree with you on that one.
6 weeks.
I
Look,
wish I had got to do that.
there's Animal, I don't understand why we have executive recruiters anymore, because all of them sit around and ride on LinkedIn. I can ride on LinkedIn and charge somebody a 40 to 50% fee based upon whether or not I found that individual. I can give you a free Google custom search engine. I think Ernie has this, right? Yeah,
I do. I do. It's my favorite.
Okay, all right.
It's my reason for not using LinkedIn.
That's cool.
Yeah, so like, you can go behind the LinkedIn paywall and you can find all the people that you need to find, and we should be charging people 20 to 30%. We shouldn't be charging anything less than that. Anybody who's doing that is doing a disservice to themselves.
So let me ask. Can I know I don't want to steal from your own show, but since you've raised this thing, what did you teach Ernie about custom search engines? You set it up with Google and you put in people, right?
Right.
No.
Well, tell us how to do it. Can you tell us in a couple of minutes?
Yeah, I can tell you in a couple of seconds, is that if you go to google.com/CSE, you can build in the site command. And that's what I've done there, is I've gone site command :linkedin.com, and I've put in a bunch of aliases and synonyms for different roles. I started building that search engine when I was working on marketing and salespeople, but now I'm working on technical people. So I've added more synonyms for technical people. That's it. I probably spend 30 minutes a week on it.
Wow. And you, so if people want to see the same video or conversation that you had with Ryan about this, or how would they get there?
Okay,
go ahead. Go ahead.
So two ways is that if you can go to my LinkedIn page, and I have on my LinkedIn page a guide that lays out how to build the Google custom search engine.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Brian Fink, one word, that'll get you to me on LinkedIn.
Okay.
Or you can go to recruitingdaily.com, check out the podcasts. We're available on Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, and Spotify. So just type in recruiting and we'll come up.
Okay. So that's great.
And I would also mention his CSE kicks ass. And it's,
Thanks, man.
I have other CSEs that I've used, and I always go to his, and I even call it Brian Fink CSEs. And the reason I do is because you can put in your Boolean search, you can get all your LinkedIn people, but I think the one feature he has is who are the people that are actually looking, who are open for jobs, and you can go to those right away and deal with the rest. So you don't
What a
mess around with
fantastic
everything else.
endorsement. What an endorsement. Okay.
It's a great CSE,
And I know you didn't pay anything.
Well, I don't pay anything for it anyhow. Like
I meant you didn't pay Ernie. Okay.
No, I'm just
question.
grateful for what he did. I mean, it's heaven sent. And I hear people saying go into LinkedIn Recruiter or all the other LinkedIn stuff, and I'm thinking, why?
So
Dude,
what's this other?
dude.
Hold on, 6 weeks. I want you to justify that. So in other words, recruiting is not that difficult. In 6 weeks' time, you can learn all the skills you need to work on your own. Essentially, that's what you're
As
saying, right?
long as you're curious, you can learn and you can keep learning. You just got to keep asking questions.
Okay, but you don't have that. That's another huge issue, the functional experience. You got no experience on the jobs that you're working on. In 6 weeks, you really don't even have a grasp of them. If you're working in a company with other people, you've got somebody to ask. You've got a resource. If you're on your own, what do?
I say that you ask people like in your chat room, that you ask for help, that you lean upon the community, that you ask those individuals to kind of bolster you to get you through. I don't believe in fake it till you make it. I believe in ask questions until you break it.
That's nice.
I think as you're starting out, you're dealing with somebody, say a client, and that hiring manager is trusting you to find him somebody. You start asking that client what exactly they're looking for. If they threw you some acronyms that you don't know, you start making sure you understand what they're asking, because that's the worst thing you can do.
Yes, but these days recruiters are more niche oriented. These guys are making me self-conscious about the way I speak. They say niche, I say niche. Okay. I say process, they say process. Anyway, but okay. So if you start asking your hiring manager for details or the meaning of very common terms in her field, isn't she gonna say, look, you don't know anything. Why should I deal with you? I remember I went out with my partner at the time. He was a fantastic recruiter. I was just so lucky to be working with him. We went out to a big company and we built rapport because my friend was like motorcycles, and the VP of sales we were talking to, he liked motorcycles as well. And they were chatting about motorcycles, and it was retail. In the end, he says, how many retail searches did you guys do last year? We said 3. He said, I got agencies calling me that do 40 a year. Why should I use you? Okay. And so that's what I'm talking about. Once you get on they're giving you terms that you don't know. Aren't they going to lose confidence in you, Ernie? You're saying it's so easy to ask.
Well, I would say at that time, why are you talking to me? I mean, you got 40. Why haven't they filled your jobs?
Well, they didn't let me. I didn't get to that stage. He knocked me out for that reason. And I went to. Go ahead.
But I promise you this one thing. I need to find out what you're exactly looking for, and that's why I ask all these questions. That's why I'm good. Number one. Number two is, as I send you people, I'm not going to waste your time with people that don't even meet what you're looking for. I'd rather send you 3 or 4 people that fit your background?
My point is, Ernie, that yes, you are going to waste my time because you don't know enough to assess them properly.
Okay,
You're learning on the job.
Animal, you're learning on the job. Here's the value. If you don't know those terms and they won't share them with you, they're not the right client for you. Move on to another client.
You got 6 weeks experience. You need clients, okay? You can't be so cavalier about it like you are.
Maybe that's my problem, is that I am too cavalier about things, right? That I'm not afraid to say fuck it every now and then, right?
Yeah.
So,
But you know, you're looking at people that, is this a person that was just born yesterday, or is this a person that's had a life? You know, and if you've worked in the industry and you want to be a recruiter and you understand it, fine. If you've done other types of recruiting and are hopping over, you can bring some of those skill sets over. I started recruiting, God, back in '98, and I never worked for anybody. I just started calling people that used to work in the food industry.
Okay, Ernie, you were an HR manager in the food industry. That was your specialization already, okay? And you had there you go, okay?
Yeah, but that's the Lou Adler story told by Ernie. Because Lou Adler was not a recruiter. Lou Adler was like some kind of industrial engineer.
An engineer, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, I started off recruiting salespeople because I was a salesperson and I knew to ask, what's quota, what's your route, what does that look like? So, okay, maybe it takes a little more than 6 weeks. I don't think it does. I think that if you've got the aptitude and the hunger, you can do this.
But the thing is, you got to learn, you've got to study, you've got to be listening to things when other people don't. It's like being an athlete. You have to constantly be practicing, and the goal is to practice more than your competitors. And you're looking.
Ernie, I agree with that. Agree with that wholeheartedly.
Mario, you busy working, or I just want to give you a chance. Do you want to comment on what these guys are saying?
The only problem I see is with the client acquisition side. I mean, I recruited on the recruiting side for almost 8 years before I struck out on my own. And past 2-3 years, I've been working on finding it difficult to get customers.
So business development, yeah,
BD.
Okay.
Mario,
that's the only side I feel.
Mario, I want you to send me an email after this conversation. I'm going to show you how I do business development.
We'll do. Definitely.
Yeah.
Will do.
Can you tell us right now in the remaining time?
I'm going to send him my search engine that Ernie uses, and I'm going to show him how to plug in and pull up just the work email addresses of people who are on LinkedIn, so you can put those people into a feed campaign via Google Sheets.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so
Brian, can I ask you, Animal, one second. Brian, have you used a tool called Siren.io? It's like a data intelligence tool.
Siren.io.
Okay, I'll connect it with you on LinkedIn. I want to chat with you about something. Okay, you might find it very interesting.
Okay, cool, man. Let's do this. Let's jam.
Yeah, definitely.
This has been fun. I mean, you guys are I said cavalier before, but this is a feel good, this last section of the show. It's, hey, man, you could do it. There's nothing to it. Have confidence. Go ahead. Strike out boldly. That's what you guys, Ernie and Brian, are saying, right?
So I am saying that. Let me pitch this real quick. There is a book that is called Rework. It came out in March of 2010. I read the book in April of 2010. I launched my first recruiting firm on my own and said, fuck the man. I'm going to go do my own thing. Okay. Actually, I didn't say fuck the man. I said, can I have your blessing, Jeff? Because Jeff Audette is that kind of person. Anyhow, long story short, this book is a quick read. It tells you how to succeed in business and teaches you this kind of cavalier attitude. And it shows you a better, faster, easier way to get ahead in business. That's the plug. That's the book.
Also, you got to understand your own personality. There are some people that don't want to take a chance. There are some people that rather have that be in corporate recruiting. Some people that rather be an employee in an agency. And then there are crazies like us.
Well, I'm crazy because I'm in corporate recruiting.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'm building shit. Like, that's what I like to do.
Okay.
But it does take a certain personality, though.
I'll just mention that Dualta, who was here earlier, he also started his business. I don't know if he started it, but he shaped his business based on a book he read. He read Tim Ferriss' 4 Hour
Work Week.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's and I guess I haven't read it, but I gathered that outsourcing is one of the main features of that, and so that's why Dualta's got virtual assistants all over Eastern Europe, and not only that, he outsources it to his wife, and then she outsources it to the people. Anything else? Or are we finished?
Dude,
Anything
thanks for
else,
having us
everybody?
on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
it's-
Brian, if someone, okay, you don't, do I have to get you a domain name as well? So you're Brian Fink on LinkedIn, BRIAN. You got a nice short last name, FINK, right? How
Yeah.
many other? There must be. I bet you there's a few other Brian Finks, right?
There's a radio guy down in Florida who got caught making a sex tape with Hulk Hogan's wife, but that's another story, another day.
Oh, okay. It's just Brian Fink recruiter. Put that into Google. You'll find him. Food
Not
industry
the sex
recruiter.
guy.
Food industry recruiter. And Mario, no longer R. Mario Karth, right? Give us your domain name again.
alexisrecruiting.com. I'm
Spell
changing
it.
Just
Spell it.
Jesus Christ.
You know what? I've got.
ELEXIS.
I have a bunch of
recruiting.com.
domain names. I'm going to start just moving them over to your guys. Okay, bye everybody. Thanks a lot. I had a lot of fun
Yeah.
and I learned some.